Good to see you all. This is our first Tuesday in the new year. The last Tuesday was New Year's Eve. So here we are beginning anew, beginning again, beginning, failing and beginning, forgetting and beginning always. Diana Todd, hi there. Hi there, good to see you. Welcome to Encinitas Mindfulness Community. We have about 14 people on. We usually have a few more, so we're just going to hang on a minute. Checking in with everyone who was able to get to the burning bowl ceremony and to the 3-chord blessing and protection ceremony. I know that several were. Yay, there you go, Dennis. Even though Dennis couldn't be here, those on Zoom went through the ceremony. I have a cord here for Libby that we'll tie in today. And I took my cord off because I was doing dishes and I want to put it back on because it is a beautiful reminder about what we're going to be talking about today, which is as we did the 3-knot ceremony, the first knot was the 3 jewels, or called the triple gems, or the 3 refuge. And Diana's nodding, so I know that you've heard something about that. Good for you. We here at Encinitas Mindfulness really are very careful, though you'll notice a tanka right behind me, right, and Buddha's all over my yard. We really work hard to understand these teachings in a way that doesn't require that you believe anything, but that you discover, that you inquire, that you explore what is true about these particular teachings, which do come primarily from the Buddhist tradition, not only and always, but often, just because that's my training. And so we could find and invite, and often do, teachings from other places that support exactly the truth that we know. And so just know that as we discuss the 3 refuges today, my idea is not that you become a better Buddhist at all, or that you take the vow of being a Buddhist, but that you take the vow of being your best, most beloved, most loving, most compassionate being. And then whatever that is, whoever you can look back into your lineage or the lineage of traditions to model and remember, do that. And so that's the reason the Buddha statues are all over for me. That does represent for me a certain essential commitment to presence, to ease, to compassion. It doesn't mean I get a strike every day, and there may be some days I don't get any strikes, meaning good news, but I am ever in that ambition and in that aspiration. And I have to say, after a lot of years, maybe a little, it's starting to sink in a little bit. And so I'm very excited about that. So let's talk about the 3 refuge for just maybe a couple minutes, and then we're going to sit silently for 15 minutes. On Tuesdays, we practice this silent sitting as a way of remembering that we can always hold ourselves, even when not in community, loving embrace of spiritual friends, even when not able to access the Dharma or the truth in any particular moment, not in your own mind or in the mind or world around you, even when the idea of awakening feels very remote, nowhere close to the where you're sitting. Even then, there is this possibility for cultivating awareness. And we do that in a simple way. We've been practicing all month, the month of December, and now into January, and practicing resting in luminosity. And that luminosity for me is that light of awakening, the light of awareness. The no matter what the conditions, no matter the circumstance, no matter the difficulty, no matter the joy, that this is always here and always available. And if we can slow down or pause for even a few breaths, sometimes feeling very difficult to do, we might be able to make contact with the characteristics of that luminosity, which we are simply defining as silence, stillness, and spaciousness. These three characteristics representing uh, the light of awareness, the vast expanse of one heart mind, of awakened heart mind. And our commitment as a community has been and will continue to be even more so this year to keep finding our way to it, not only in our practice together, but in our moments in our day. And so we talked on Saturday during the ceremony about the importance of setting that aspiration and then calling it out loud each day. And so as we prepare to sit silently, let's take just a moment. We're letting a few people in. Welcome, everyone. Let's take a moment just to find the body and see if we can't make real contact with this body sitting here. And then maybe feeling those contact points, the feet, the seat, the hands, and for most of this community, the uprightness. And just noticing that felt sense of aliveness here. And then within that and around that, noticing this pervasive stillness, even in just quieting the body for a moment, we remember the essential stillness of our awakened heart mind always here, even in movements, even in shifting, changing conditions, sensations, and just taking a moment to rest back into that. The stillness that holds all movement, all breath sensations, all sound. And that leads us directly into the second characteristic, that of silence. And I love the practice with silence because I can always catch it, at least between the sounds to begin. And so making contact with that. And as we rest in that silence, you'll begin to notice that there is no sound that disrupts it. Not my voice, not the clock, not the barking dog, not the conversation, not the car. And then as we rest in that stillness, we open and expand and begin to rest in the silence that is all pervading in every direction, within and around. Resting now in stillness and silence, we begin to feel the felt sense, the true quality of our own heart mind, that of ever expanding, always luminous space. We often recognize space first as that which is around us. But remember, there is no distinction of inner and outer. That which is around is also within. That which is within is also around. And so we allow the body being to be like a thin veil, a screen door, a vaporous, ever changing mist. We don't solidify the body as me, and then everything beyond the skin is other. It is all one. And finding a way to rest then within these three characteristics, some of them coming often spontaneously, and then others being sought as we notice that there is a loudness, let's say, of mind. We might rest back for a moment, particularly in silence. We're going to sit now silently. I'm going to turn off the recording, and then when we're ready, I'll come back on and guide a few more moments. But let's begin. Setting the aspiration, making contact with all those awakened ones throughout all time who are sitting with us now and always. Resting in that luminous awareness, cultivating that felt sense of stillness, silence, spaciousness. Remembering then who we really are. this very awakening, this presence, not only our capacity, but the capacity of all the awakened ones, of all the Buddhas, of all the Christs, all the Allahs, Muhammads, the grandmothers, the pets. Remembering that we are not here alone in this capacity, but that we share this capacity coming through all time and all traditions. The first refuge is this, the capacity to awaken. Inner, outer, other, and both. It is never diminished. It is always available. And it requires something of you. This resting back, in awareness. We don't look for the awakening in another, though it is there as well. We set the aspiration again and again to that awakening ourselves, and not yesterday, not tomorrow, just now. And from this place of remembering, we then can begin to, in our presence, in our aspirations to see clearly, we begin to make contact with the Dharma, the truth of the present moment, completely revealed. The second refuge is that of the truth, the trust in the teachings, the experience, then for oneself of the validity and the reality of these teachings. And then, of course, all teachings that speak to the truth. The Dharma of the present moment, the one to which we awaken again and again. And now. I take refuge in the Dharma. Anytime I sit in the Dharma seat. awakening to the truth of this moment and this precious human life. Feel its stability, its availability, its ever present reality right here. And then we take refuge in love, in the loving community that supports us, that asks of us that we aspire to these qualities, that we commit ourselves again and again through the way we are with ourselves, the way we are, the quality of being with others, and in the world, this loving community of which we are an essential part, and which is an essential part of who we are. Without spiritual friends, says the teaching, there is no path. We support each other, we practice with and for each other, we rely on each other, we walk together, sit together, serve together. I take refuge in the Sangha. And we remember that we can call on these points of refuge, both within us, around us, at any time, available throughout all circumstance, all conditions, those we like, those we don't. And not only can we rely on it, we are going to be called upon to be it, to offer it. Until all beings are free. This is our true path of liberation. It is from these very refuge that we are most calm, most connected, most present, most free. So we abide and we dwell, we rest, and we remember. And then we begin again and again, as has been done throughout all time. And then we smile as we remember this essential protection, shelter. And in that blessing cord ceremony, we tie the first knot. And if you happen to have that cord on this morning, for example, you could hold that knot in remembering. And may this practice then be of greatest benefit, offering refuge not only to you, but to those who you encounter, those who you talk with, those who you touch in this very day. Taking the good and making it bigger. And may this practice support you this very day and may it continue day by day. So be it. And then checking gently, slowly into the body, seeing what might be needed. Maybe taking a sip of whatever that liquid is. And so I thought those three words might help us remember the triple gems, the three refuge, um, awakening as the first refuge, the Dharma or the truth as the second refuge, and Sangha, community, interconnection, interbeing as the third refuge. What do what do you all know about this? This is something that is recommended that we call to mind each day. And we can do so with that blessing cord by touching the three knots. I'm going to be handing Libby her string here now so that she can tie that first knot. Um, can you see the benefit and what do you understand about that? And then we'll talk about what the fears are, because I think they're often many that come with this. That's for Libby. She's going to tie, we tried to tie them somewhere in the middle. It sometimes worked and didn't really matter. So if you have thoughts about this, questions, come on, say hello. Let's talk about it. Dennis says, going into the silent unknown, empty space is both scary and yet freeing. Yes, Dennis, I think it is true. I think initially we believe, don't we, that we ourselves are not sufficient, that we don't have what it takes. I know for sure, as it related to the three refuge vows, I was like, I think I'm in the wrong room here. Uh, I don't know if I have any of this capacity. Um, I didn't yet know. I hadn't yet made contact with that. I hadn't really developed so much of a meditation practice, though I certainly found it calming. I did not see a way that it would hold me up throughout all the circumstances and challenges of my life. I was wrong, or let's say, not yet clear seeing enough to know that. And I said them anyway, because I did know that whatever I was doing at the time was not sufficient. I did know that it was just not sufficient, that working however hard I worked and being as busy as however I was and generating as much money as whatever I did and was not going to be sufficient. And as it has turned out, has not been. That it has been consistently accurate. It has not been. And that the truth of the refuges has borne out. It has borne out. Um, Whether the house is here or not here, the body or health is here or not here, the ones I love are here or not here. There is a place and a capacity to be with all of that. And then so I feel dramatically grateful for that. But yes, one of the fears is I don't have what this takes, because we imagine, don't we, mistakenly, dualistically, and linearly, that we're just supposed to start the climb and keep going. And that every day should be another climb and another step and another right? And that we set this bar of accomplishment rather than the reality of the resting back and remembering it. We think we've got to go do something, be something else, accomplish something, um, study something to get to it. And boy, has that really turned out not to be accurate. And uh, that we are going to consistently remember that we have to keep beginning again, that it is the only way, and that the liberation is in it, which is we just begin again. And then we begin again, as has been done throughout all time, which is how these teachings have come to us. Haven't they? They've, because somebody just kept doing it. Somebody just kept saying it. Somebody just kept being it. right, throughout really all time. And so we are capable because we are from that, we are of that. That is the cloth from which we too have been made. And so here we are. And the second fear, anybody know? This is the number one. I just don't have what it takes. Dennis, thank you for naming that. Anybody know what the number two fear is? Take some guesses. What would be your guess? There's no way to get it wrong. Another fear. Just think about your own. Failure. Uh, yes, that's a little bit in the number one. We're afraid we don't have what it takes. So we're going to keep that as the one that Libby says it won't work. That all of that, what will you do so that if it doesn't work, you go, ugh, what? There is a fear that it won't work. That's the fear that we're not enough, also. Not just us, but it. Yeah, you're just pointing that fear, doing it wrong, that we're not worthy of it. This is all kind of the same. You're naming that same base self fear, and then we can extend that to the practices, to the teacher, right? It's not enough. She's not enough. No, it is that we're going to have to give shit up. Because we are. Oh, crap. I didn't really want to hear this. It's not going to necessarily be easy, pleasant, or pleasurable. It is going to be slightly inconvenient, if not more, isn't it? Because then I'm going to be asked to do that every day. And then I'm going to be asked to do it again and again. And then I'm going to be asked to not go do the busy that I know how to do, or the lazy busy, I like to call it, that we're all expert at. Thousands of things to do going nowhere so fast, right? Thousands, blah, 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 right? I did it just yesterday myself. I was talking with Pete and he goes, what do you do? And I went like 200,000 emails. And I'm realizing I should not be the one doing them. They're important. They matter. They're about the Philibelly. They're about Sangha on Saturday. They're about the all day. And I should not be the one writing them. What genius. What genius struck me. I was like, no, I got to give that part up because there are too many others here who also can contribute. Lynn happens to be one of them. Lynn's going to be working to support the Philibelly and the Sangha, right? How amazing is that? I won't have to keep writing emails about the Philibelly because Lynn right? Is this going to be inconvenient? Yes. Is it going to require some time, energy? Yes. Will it be worth it? No doubt about it. Will it benefit all beings? No doubt about it. And it still requires something, doesn't it? And our practice is the same, isn't it? It requires something. I've got to create space, room, some kind of warmth and open heart. And then I've got to commit myself again and again.
It also feels like a bit of a gift to me. So,
It does. It is. Yes. Isn't it? And it's always true, Lynn, but we don't know it till we get there often. At the front door, it looks just like, uh-oh, some work, some effort. I'm going to have to do X. I'm going to have to Y. And I'm not saying that you do. I'm saying in our fear-based egoic mind, we go, you're going to have to give up the other stuff to get to this. And practice in particular, because it so looks like doing nothing. And it is also a precious gift that looks like a lot of nothing. And we go, why? I could be busy. I could be cleaning. I could be buying something. I could be organizing something. And it isn't that any of these things inherently are bad or wrong, is it? It's that we use them. We use the busyness as our primary distraction from the truth of our lives. That's the problem, not doing things. I hope we're going to do Philipelli on Thursday. How spectacular is that? Right? But the doing must come from something, some wisdom, some knowledge, some essential care towards the good. And we spend so much time uh, in essential busyness, not really going, getting, doing. We're just in the spin. And that's the quality of mind we bring to it. So is doing dishes a waste of time? No, no, certainly not. Could it be even an essential part of a practice? Well, certainly it could, but it would require a certain aspiration, a certain intention, and a certain level of presence. So the second fear is I have to give stuff that is currently distracting me, that is currently addicting up in order to cultivate these qualities. Does that make sense to people? And we get like the opposite of liberation, isn't it? We get afraid that this isn't going to lead to liberation. This is going to lead to me having to give stuff up. That's the opposite of liberation. It is not even slightly true. Wait till we all see that the less we do, the more we're present, the more we're committed, the more we're available, the more joyful we are. It's really true. And that's where liberation is. It isn't in the spinning at all. Felicia says that I will not change. That's that essential fear that we're not enough. We don't have the capacity somehow. Somebody else has got it. That we're not worth it, Dennis writes, right? Look at this this, I don't got it. I can't do it. I'm not worth it. I'm not. It is the pandemic of our time. It is the pandemic of our time. COVID's got nothing on us. We really go, I can't do it. And really, I can't do it because I don't want to give up some of the stuff I'd have to give up to get to it, is also true. How do I do this and then keep all of my habits and then keep all of my afflictions and keep all of my, right? There isn't a way. It's not possible. It isn't. I don't want to lie to you. It isn't possible. It'll get in the way. It will be a essential obstruction. And we have these three refuge where we can always come home in those difficult, scary moments. Dennis says, I'm having a difficult time deciding whether to have my left hand tendons cut. Yeah, these decisions about healthcare are commonly challenging, and then go through 6 to 8 weeks of recovery. Yes, we are afraid of change. And we are afraid of uncertainty, Dennis, aren't we? We are afraid of not knowing the outcome. We are afraid of not being able to guarantee an outcome, which is actually never possible under any circumstances in any amount of time. Forget surgery. Just talk about getting up from that chair and making it to your car. It is actually as uncertain, except we tend to focus on moments, don't we? Because they feel threatening in some way, even if they are for the whole purpose of being a support. Like, I don't know, because I can't guarantee anything. Well, you can guarantee something, that if you don't do anything, it is likely to get worse. It is predictable. It's likely to worsen if you stay like this. Now, by the way, I don't want to say that's a good or bad thing. I couldn't know. The reason I did the meniscus surgery on my knee was because I was never going to walk okay if I didn't do something. And guess what? I did it, and there were still significant challenges, and I chose them. And I chose them. And I didn't blame anybody for them. I just went, oh, my body heals like this with a lot of scar tissue right away. And there is a way to work with this, be with this. And it might mean I'm never going to It's never going to go back to where it was because we don't go back, right? We don't go back. So, yes, these are things we often bring trepidation to, but it is the truth of every moment. It is. One day, one of us won't get up from the chair. It's true, right? And then how do we? Well, it says, abide the refuge, rest in the refuge, come back to what is most important, since keeping this body the way it is for sure a failed attempt. It's not possible. You're not going to be successful. You can be successful in abiding that reality, can't we? We can. Jimmy Carter, grab your hammer and just do it. Yeah, uh, you get to be scared about it. You get to reflect on it. You get to find a good surgeon, right? You get to decide, is it that bad? And, you know, do I really need this right now? And I trust whatever you would come up with in that reflection. You do get to take time in that reflection. Not every surgery is right surgery, even if, right, because of what it will consequently cost you. That was a question, for example, with my mom at her age with the hip. Is this going to be a wise decision? Uh, well, she was generally healthy. She'd moved a lot. She had good aspiration to continue to move. So it looked like a good risk. And in fact, it turned out to be true. Doesn't mean, right? No guarantee still, because for 10 days, her leg was totally dead. And we thought the nerve may never come back. And she could have been without that right leg. So, where do we rest in the reality of the uncertainty of this life? Where do we rest then? In the refuge, in those three: refuge and in their characteristics, right? Where else would we go? And you might say to another, into uh, the arms of the Sangha, and that would also be right. To say this is scary and this is hard and I don't know what to do, and to say it out loud to a loving community is also right, isn't it? And then to know that you're going to be held in it because everybody here knows about the uncertainty of this human life. Every, bar none. We all know. Right? And so we hold it with you, Dennis. And then when we're not here, you remember that quality in you. And you cultivate for you and others. What else? Have to give up too much? Don't have it. Don't have it in whatever way. Unworthiness, undeservedness, just don't have the rigor, the discipline. I don't know if any of us do to begin. I think that's a cultivated quality. I don't think anybody just gets up on stage and plays the concert. I think it's a day by day, moment by moment practice. So I don't think it's reasonable to expect that in the tsunami waves of real life that we magically have the strokes down, right? And that's why we rely on others as well, isn't it? But you have been gifted this precious human life with these qualities, and now the teachings that are made here available to you. And of course, then just the teachings in this human life. We run smack into them, don't we? So the three refuge is the first knot next Tuesday. we will talk about the second knot in the blessing cord, and we'll call that compassionate presence. After taking refuge, we rest in a compassionate presence with some commitment to non harm, an essential commitment to non harm. And that invites the 5, the 8, or the 12 precepts. And we'll talk a little bit about those next time. That would be the second chord in the knot of the blessing cord. I practiced and repeated my mistakes over and over. Yeah, I think that's a part of the essential path. Fail better and better. I think that is a part of what is required on the path. I don't know a way uh, around that, Robin. I think, though, the recognition that it is a mistake, an error, did not get me what I ultimately wanted, hasn't allowed for me to continue to cultivate certain qualities or skills or ways of being. I think that is the wisdom. I think we're all doing it, aren't we? We're all here going, well, I just knocked my head upside that thing one more time, necessarily because I didn't yet see clearly that it was, in fact, a contribution to my suffering. I didn't yet see. I thought if I just got better at it, if I could just get busier, if I could just accomplish more, if I could just buy more, if I could just, right, have the instead of the, then, and we all have to practice. That's the essential reality of the practice. We turn a little bit in the unskillful direction necessarily to see what it does and does not get us. And initially, the error might be that it gets us a quick kind of fix. And so then looks like it could work, right? Looks like it can work. A lot of people have to give everything to their work for years, let's say 20 or 25. My brother managed to have pulled it off for 40 something years before he figured out that there was nobody on his side. There was nobody going to save him. There was nobody who was going to congratulate him or, right? It wasn't going to work like that. But he gave it everything. He did. And is very disappointed in the result. Nobody's clapping. What Herman says, what is required is being brave and hope for the best, acknowledge the potential, risk, I think, maybe, and move forward. I think I got that right, Herman. Yes, it doesn't it require an essential courage? It's true. Yeah, isn't it? An essential courage. And the courage is then in that confidence, that first refuge, my own capacity to abide, my own capacity to grow, learn, heal, to be present, to be of benefit, even when this isn't going to work out like I thought. That if I only worked hard, I think this is a common. If I only worked hard, it would all work out. And I think it is true. If we work hard, it does work out. But I don't think it's the work we were imagining at all. I don't think it's build the house, get the Trump Towers set up. I don't think all the money and and it takes us a fairly long time. I think, again, it's 20 to 30 years before we go, well, now I got all the stuff, but I'm not happy. I don't feel easeful. I'm not more available to loved ones or to myself at all. I'm just now maintaining my stuff, right? And like, what am I doing? Because it all takes time and energy and money and resource. And there I am, just navigating stuff. Uh, very, very, there's no real joy in it, not that I can see. Siobhan says, resting in uncertainty, that is an important aspect of life's hard decisions. It is. At some point, we have to make a decision, no matter how difficult, and let go and rest in that uncertainty. Yes, the back and forth mind discussions. Yeah, the matrix we all try to create for best probabilities, cost benefit analysis, right? Can be very draining for sure. Not making a decision is always coming from fear. My current back and forth waffling is whether or not to keep these amazing kitties we've adopted. And yes, because they're a handful and sometimes stressful and a challenge. Just saying that phrase helped me free me this morning from the waffling. I want to keep them and rest in the uncertainty. Yes, we cannot know. You can know the good heart with which you're trying to do the right thing, though. I think that's certain. We can rest in that certainty. That is the first refuge, isn't it? Our own capacity for love, our own capacity for awakening, our own capacity for compassion. That's certainly an evidence here. I have no idea whether these kitties are going to rip up your house or not. I wouldn't say. And I don't know if it will ultimately be the point either. The thing that might be remembered most is the good heart of you that offered something to these precious beings deserving of protection. Might be the point. And then, yeah, they're probably going to shred up some stuff. Yeah, probably. Hopefully, it's stuff you didn't need. Discomfort. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we do not like the unpleasant realities of, right, this life and what it takes. It is true. And we're all trying to get often that mind, right? That just get me something I can hang on to. Um, and I think there is something we can hang on to. I think it is the three refuge. I think you can hang on to something. You can remember that the good heart in me, the awakened one in me, the one who wishes to be of benefit in me, the one who can take good care of myself so that I can be as available as possible to caring for myself and others. And we always begin with ourselves. That is the whole of the Vipassana Theravada path. Your stability, your calm, right? Your capacity for that is what will lead to your being of greatest benefit to others, which is then the Mahayana path that we frequently talk about, the Bodhisattva path. Wrong kitty emoji. All kitty emojis are wonderful. Yes, the smiley ones and the teary ones too. I'm going to get something sailing and then do my hand surgery. Yeah, there you go. There's a nice path, Dennis. A little joy and then the hand that you wish to continue to do that with. Because really, I don't know much about sailing, though I've done it several times and even taught it at a summer camp. The truth is, without your hands, you may not be able to. There's a lot of right hold in sailing required, even on little boats and without the hand to do it. Um, and can we rest in the this feels right now and then stay awake? We keep watching for what continues to support that truth because the truth holds true, right? It doesn't waffle. The truth doesn't waffle. It's us. The truth is the truth, right? There is risk. You do have to do some due diligence. There will be research required. You will want the best person you can find to do it. You will want to understand the risks. All of this is also true. And the three refuge will be available to you in it all. If we don't rest in it for some amount of time and call it to mind, I don't know how to find our way back to it. I don't know how. I forget and then go into unnecessary distress and challenge. And when I can come back and just begin again, be with myself, find the body, settle a little, it all becomes quite workable, even when it's hard. And it is. It's true. Anything else before we get ready to do our prayer about this? Three Refuge, always here, always available, always you, never not. Even when you're going, I don't know where it is because I can't find it right now. Start with silence and stillness and spaciousness, and that will help you remember. A couple announcements first. We're Philabelly on Thursday. I think everybody should have the instructions for that who are planning to attend. If you aren't signed up for this one, no worries. We have 4 more: February, March, April, and May. We're going to be working with Lynn to get some of those essential things going so that we can start signing up uh, in advance. Um, Please be there by about 6:10, not later. If somebody has small plates for desserts, would you bring them and let me know? Because otherwise, we're going to go buy some. People have been trying to put the desserts on their food. It all gets kind of mushed up. We do have some take home items, cookies and some things that we'll be putting in a paper bag. We have all that already set up, but I think it'd be good if we had some small plates. So if anybody does, and if you don't, we will get them, and then in the next round, include that in our donation, things we can also donate. Okay, Saturday would be the other thing. Greg will be on Zoom at 7:30 till about 8 something, uh, offering practice. And we will be heading, the rest of us, to Pete's Thunderdome for a half day or full day of practice together. We will be there from 9. So if you're planning to come, please, I'm going to put the registration here. Please arrive before 9 o'clock. It's a real opportunity for us to practice together for some extended period of time. And we won't be doing that again until sometime in later March. So it'd be nice if you could join us if that's possible. Okay, there's the link for sign up on that. There is no half day fee offered for this because we have more limited space than the space at Quest Haven, where we are numberless. It doesn't matter. And so even if you come from 9 to 12:15 or from 1 to 4:30, those are half day offerings. You will only have the $60 option. If for some reason that's challenging, and we do understand, just write to Carrie through that or at this email, and she will tell you to just bring some money and pay the $40 for the half day so that we can work it out that way. We don't want anybody not to be there because of money. We have what we need. Okay. So let's get ready for the Bodhisattva prayer. And then once again, resting back into our true nature, touching into that stillness, that silence, that spaciousness, remembering who we really are. And within that spaciousness resides this boundless, most loving, most compassionate, most present, awakened heart. The heart of bodhicitta, the essential engine for the bodhisattva path. And in this pristine daily care, beginning with recollecting our aspirations, with calling them out, with resting, nourishing, resourcing the mind body, the remembering them throughout the day, the beginning again, and the contemplation, review, and reflection at the end of the day. We gain and grow in love, compassion, and wisdom so that we can realize this prayer. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are free from sorrow and all are awakened. May it be so, may it be so, may it be so. So be it. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Mwah. To you. Thank you all. Be well, everyone. If you haven't yet done your recollections, your aspiration um, for the day, you already have done it, of course, here. But just take a moment and remember to connect back with yourself. Take a few moments again, remember, and then begin again. It's a beautiful way to live the day. You'll make a difference in it. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Be well, everyone. See you on Saturday at the Dome. Hope you can join us. If not, Greg will be right here. Be well, everyone.